And welcome back to the HCS Pro League Fall 2017 season. Elamite and T2 joining you from the Xfinity desk. And we just saw Team Liquid defeat Splice. And what I would consider an upset based on how the season got started so far.
Oh, really, Kyle? Considering that you just said that they're going to lose 3-0?
I thought it was going to be a 3-0, but that was not the same Splice that we've seen so far.
Not the same Team Liquid either.
No, you're absolutely correct. Two completely different squads. Same rosters, just different strategies going into it. And I think a lot of that could come down to, like we said, the champion's curse. You know, once you win an event, you start slacking off a little bit. You heard it from earlier in the show where they're talking about Splice. One of the reasons they were so successful was they're playing 2v2s, money 8s, money 4s all the time, just grinding and grinding and grinding. But maybe they're not doing that this time around, and it could be backfiring.
Yeah, and, you know, that's why what Optic Gaming did was, you know, so darn amazing for them to be able to string together so many wins in Halo 5 and do it in such dominating fashion and never really letting up. And that's why, again, it's very hard to bet against them in whatever tournament that they're going through because they've always been first and second. They're never, ever really slacking off. They're constantly grinding out. Not saying that Splice has slacked off by any means, but it's just, you know, completely two different things from going and winning one tournament to then going 1-2. I believe they're sitting at the Pro League to Optic Gaming, who, again, just never really lets their foot off the pedal, and now we have Optic Gaming taking on Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, speaking of which, that is our final match of the night. #1 ranked Optic Gaming here going up against this Evil Geniuses squad, coming off of a loss last week, the reverse sweep from Luminosity. We talked about that earlier in the day here. Taking a look at this Evil Geniuses roster, of course, tapping buttons, Lunchbox, Roy, falcated from left to right. And this team has been around for quite some time. Lunch and Roy getting their start back in 2007. But one player to take a look at here is Tapping Buttons, one of the newest members to the league, to Halo, coming out of Mexico, like we've said before, and a lot of pressure on his shoulders here, as I think he could have stepped up last week. Fell a little bit short, but looking for him to bounce back. He wants to be in that conversation with the Frosties, the Hooks, the Renegades, and the Shotsies here. He's going to have to step it up for this team here and clutch some victories.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what these game types are here because we're going to see a lot based on this fact here. It's Truth CTF to start, TS Rig, Eden, Strongholds. So not the best draw for EG overall, but still something that they can work with. Truth CTF. You got to constantly be adding pressure on over towards that pink side, watching the spawns. There's going to be a lot of hectic communication going on. And then Rig Slayer, things slow down a little bit. So just a wide variety of game types here. Going to really test these guys to see just how good they really are. We know Optic Gaming, the heavy favorite going into this series, but we did see a surprise previously. Like you said, Kyle, you were expecting a 3-0 in favor of Team Splice, and then we did see Team Liquid end up taking that one in a very dominating fashion, especially in that fourth and final game on Coliseum. So I'm just very impressed, you know, with the Team Liquid squad. Still, after seeing that series, I want to be just as impressed with Evil Geniuses going forward here because we saw it in day #1. They looked phenomenal. Came out extremely hot. 3-0. They go up 2-0 against LG. They're looking unstoppable. About to maybe close out another 3-0 and have a 6-0 perfect map record facing off against Optic Gaming, maybe for that #1 spot. Maybe with Envy as well being in top 3, but no, they're sitting at 1-1 instead because LG, the phenomenal series they put together. Again, short-term memory. That is the key word here for Evil Geniuses. It's a different day, it's a different week, it's a different team that they're playing against, and it's some stiff competition, some of the best competition that they're going to face, if not the best competition in Optic Gaming.
All right, and we'll starting this one off with Tapping Buttons here. We highlighted him before we got this match started, and we'll see what he's going to be able to bring to the table here against this Optic Gaming roster. Immediately pushing up to P3. Now that's Camo going over in favor of Optic Gaming. Snakebite versus Tapping Buttons, and Snakebite comes out ahead.
And that is not good. 3 dead. Falcade, the last guy alive. Optic Gaming already pulling this flag. Looks like they've done their homework, or they're just imposing their will, as they always have done. 30 seconds. Make that 28 seconds exactly for the first cap to go in. Now some good pink control eventually going on over to, wanted to say good pink control going on over to EG, but that's 2 kills immediately going on over to, third kill going on over to Optic Lethal. He's choking the spawns on over towards He's getting shot in the back, though. He's going to be choking spawns in the bubble just temporarily. Thought that he was the guy going to be doing that. Instead, he's the flag guy instead. Now to watch that tunnel, though, and doesn't. That's going to be Tapping Buttons getting the kill. Can Tapping Buttons find some more? Needs to get that kill on the Snakebite. Has help coming in. EG going to slow this flag down just a little bit. Keep those tweets coming in.
Yeah, Tom, I thought we were going to, you see a cap in a minute. That's pretty impressive. 1 in 30 seconds, that's just that much more rare. And I thought we were about to see 2 in a minute this time around.
That's for sure. Let's see what Falcade's going to be able to do over here. 3 people on the pink side. So that's what you want to see if your Evil Genius is. Going to have to push top center here if you're Falcade and take some new angles. He does go P3. That's good. Tapping Buttons is going to drop to a grenade from Royal 2. Falcade trying to respond back and get the trade. He's still full shields, though. Royal 2 dropping down with the beatdown. Roy, he's going to answer that with a trade. So now a 2-on-2 situation, but advantage to Optic because they did push into pink side. Everybody from Evil Genius has forfeited control. I would have loved to see them stay inside pink. One guy needs to stay P3, one guy needs to stay P2, or maybe you send a guy top center and a guy P3 or P2, but everybody flooding down to the street into the Optic gaming base is not going to work.
Yeah, and as we got that new camo getting ready to spawn here as well, everyone from Evil Geniuses is going to be coming off spawn over towards the bubble here. You got Frosty going for the flagpole, PJ or Snakebite playing some defense, and then the collapse here from the rest of Optic Gaming comes in from a flank car side, but it was a little bit too late as the players here pushing P side did get taken out. However, Optic Gaming still able to secure this camo. Nobody from Evil Geniuses is even looking that direction. However, with Ogre 2 coaching them, they should recognize camo has been grabbed. Unfortunately for them, they're not going to have a time on this next one.
Yeah, there's Optic Gaming pushing in, and you notice that one guy is going to stay back. That's going to be Lethal. He needs to anchor this pink side. Now that his teammates have died, it's going to change the scenario a little bit. They have no idea where he's currently located. Lunchbox just popping out, trying to get information. Still hasn't gained the information quite yet. No one has any idea where Lethal is. But look at this, Kyle. No one's pushing in quite yet. That's what you want to do if you're Optic. Don't push in until you have numbers. Wait to get some kills and then go for the play. Now they have 2 dead. Now is the time to push. 2 people underneath the base. All Lethal has to do is watch this tunnel area. He's also watching on top of the base and car 1 at the same time. So Lethal covering all the angles. Perfect execution on this flag run so far, except 2 people are going to drop on the car side. That's going to allow EG to come in for a flag pull. There's a player that comes off the spawn that helps stop the flag from getting tossed out, but they do get it towards bottom center. Lunchbox sacrificing his life. That's not going to last very long. Another player top center and 2 inside the base right now. EG desperately needs to get this flag past that 50-yard line. Otherwise, Optic Gaming slowly but surely just going to choke them out and just steal every little ounce of breath that they have. There is the return. The flag going to go in 2-0 for Optic Gaming.
Oh, and Lunchbox does win that 1v1, but almost gets taken out by Lethal. Snakebite on the cleanup there, about 20 seconds away. I think it was 52 or so. We saw that last camo get picked up, and like we pointed out, EG does not have an exact time on that like Optic Gaming does. And look at them, they're just trapped in their base playing defense, already down 2-0 in 4 minutes.
Yeah, Snakebite, he was getting shot in the back, so he had a desperate underneath the base. Probably wishes that he had his positioning back originally, probably working with P2 and Frosty over here if that was the case. But camouflage, like you said, Kyle, dropping any second. That's why Frosty's controlling this area. Ogre 2, he's going to be on top of these times for Evil Geniuses, going to call that out. Nice job by Tapping Buttons, at least taking Frosty down to no shields. Will Lunchbox be able to clean that up? That's where you see just a difference in the 2 teams. Lunchbox not paying attention, not responding to calls. Yeah, he lives with the camouflage, but that should have been an easy cleanup right there. Typically, you're going to see someone just get that melee, call that guy out on the street, and then immediately dead, but that's just not the case. EG a little bit too slow on these one-shots.
Ooh, great grenades coming in here from Frosty. 2 of them connecting there onto Tapping Buttons. Roy's trying to push the flag out. Frosty's doing everything he can to hold back this aggression here from EG as they do have the flag out for Optic Gaming. And as you see, 2 dead. That's a numbers advantage for EG. They need to start pushing this flag. 3 dead now. Is anybody grabbing it? Finally, they start pushing it across again.
Yeah, if you're Optic, just give this cap up. You already have that 2-0 lead. Big primary kill is Falcated right now. They need to clear out the base. I'm assuming Optic Gaming is disciplined to do that. TJ Lethal, he got the memo. He flies in there and picks up a double kill. That's just really impressive from Lethal overall, because when someone goes and makes a play like that, then all you need is someone else to fill the void. And guess what? Snakebite, he's already there picking up kills, picking up 2 kills inside of the Evil Geniuses base and tossing the flag out. So huge opportunities being created by Optic Gaming because of Lethal and Snakebite's plays. Now Frosty trying to step it up with Royal 2 over here to try to finish what these guys started, and they are perfectly, and that's what makes Optic Gaming such a deadly team. They are so well seasoned, but yet they're so scary individually and clutch it up at any given moment. Royal 2, he's underneath the base. This is going to be the third and final flag cap going in. Game number 1, pretty handily going on over to Optic Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the start was just amazing for Optic Gaming. First 30 seconds able to secure themselves a flag capture. And then Evil Geniuses did a good job kind of holding off some of the aggression, but that second flag cap and 2-0 lead was still very early on in the game, and it's always difficult to come back from a deficit like that. EG does their best, puts one on the board, but falls short at the very end. A lot of that's going to come down to those camo plays that they were not able to capitalize on, not even contest that. Even when Lunchbox had the camo, he almost got taken out. It ultimately was really the flag capture that they got, kind of led by that charge, but still not enough, or too little too late here for EG.
And when you look at those stats, Lethal and Royal 2 going in 16 and 8 for Lethal. Royal 2, 16 and 5. I mean, just great plays overall. Especially, I was really impressed with Lethal more than anybody in that game. We know Royal 2 is going to go up and put up the stats. This is just kind of what Royal 2 does. But the way that Lethal was able to come back and clear out his base, that to me was the biggest play of the game from Optic Gaming, besides their fantastic start and what they continue to do to Evil Geniuses throughout this game. Because that was the first momentum that we've seen Evil Geniuses gain throughout. And it was Falcated coming in and possibly running another flag capture to tie it up 2-2. But Lethal, he came through with the flank, or not the flank, came through off of the spawn, charging back into his base, and he said no. So now you have to reset here going into game number 2, and it's going to be difficult for Evil Geniuses because they weren't able to get footing off of the beginning of that game. And if they do the same thing here, it could get out of hand. I want to see Evil Geniuses tighten up the beginning strategy, because you cannot afford to give Optic Gaming control and a capture within 30 seconds of the game. I'm expecting, like, for example, in the Team Liquid Splice series, if you're going to see Splice, you know, how they were up 5-1, and Spartan was talking about how he had the sniper rifle and got that kill, we're not going to see the same thing from Optic Gaming. I don't think they're going to make those little mistakes like not choking blue platform or just not choking spawns in general. And if they forget to choke a spawn, they're the type of team that does it because they're intentionally leaving that open so they can kill you when you come back to life.
Yeah, I mean, this is Slayer Rig. This is going to be a scary game type for Evil Geniuses. Optic Gaming is normally a team that really kind of turns it on halfway through the game. You might see them down by 5, 10 or more kills up to the 25 kill mark or halfway through the game, and then all of a sudden they just turn it on and run away with it. So a lot of it comes down to the opening here.
They did that to Luminosity.
Exactly. Like you pointed out earlier, LG was winning every single game up to the halfway mark.
At one point. They were definitely winning the first 2 games at the halfway point, and I think they were leading game 3 just a little bit. But when you're the underdog, you have to clutch it in certain moments. And the beginning of the game is one of those moments, in my opinion, when you're going up against Optic Gaming. They're so strong in the control game. Rick Slayer, another one of those game types where they've kind of developed the meta originally when they first started becoming that dominant team by getting aggressive. A lot of teams just sat back in the bunker. Optic Gaming, they were the aggressors a lot of times, bringing the sniper rifle towards the enemy team, charging on over towards that carbine area, then rotating the spawns back on over towards the bunker. So if you're EG here, you got to have a big game individually from everybody. You also have to play really sound, teamwork-oriented setups here. Slowing it down, playing methodical, having over 2 call out these camo times and working together. That is a death rate there that could have been probably avoided by Roy. I don't think he was expecting to see so many players on that side of the map. He had 2 players on over towards the carbine, another one over towards the back rafters, and he still got picked off. No one saw 2 of those players sitting in there. That's going to be tough for Evil Geniuses to get out of.
Yeah, we just watched Royal 2 challenge Roy and pick up a win very convincingly. Long-range pistol battle there. So it's going to be one of those things EG has to watch out for. You cannot be committing and allowing a 1v1 battle to go in Optic's favor.
Let's see what Royal 2 is going to be able to do. He's in the overpass and has multiple players, so I'd like to see him just utilize the grenades, and that's exactly what he's doing. That's a good grenade. Another grenade is bouncing it right off of the top engine area to kind of blow up right where that SMG area used to spawn, so you can kind of predict people jumping up. Here's a big moment in the game. He has the scatter shot. Can he get some help? He does. So now he can put that scatter shot on respawn and that's exactly what he does. That's going to give him the timer, and they're controlling that area of the map, and camouflage is coming up right around the same time. So this is very important for Optic Gaming to control the back rafters and barrels area and try to get Royal to that scatter shot again, and then eventually make their way down towards the camo. They're sitting in the basement area, so they're definitely going to shoot that camo down and eventually try to bait it or make their way down through the trenches. They also have split spawns going on over towards the bunker, so if Frosty pokes out at the right time, this is going to be great for them. Snakebite clamoring back and forth, staying alive over outside of the map in the barrels and pipes area. That's doing some justice for the rest of his squad, distracting so Royal 2 can do it. Did Royal 2 also get the scatter shot? Kyle, he did. That's exactly what we talked about. They got the scatter shot, and they got the camouflage, and they got it to Royal 2.
And they still have the sniper rifle over here in the hands of Snakebite, who hasn't even been using it. For the majority of this time he's had it, he's just putting down damage with that battle rifle, or excuse me, that DMR, just helping out this squad. Got to remember, Lunchbox, last guy alive, is back rafters here in the camo play with Royal 2 and Snakebite charging. Lunchbox is like, I'm out of here, and just dips out of dodge.
Yeah, that's pretty much, let's see how fast Lunchbox can run. And it's hard to run that fast when you're getting shot at and a scatter shot guy is chasing you as well. So he wasn't long for this world, as you normally say, Kyle, and Royal 2 still has that camo. It just wore out. He's also ready to pick up that sniper rifle. So now Optic Gaming going to have 2 sniper rifles, one in the man that you're watching right now, Snakebite, and the other in the hands of Royal 2. And one of the things that I'd really like to point out is how well Optic Gaming does the little nuances of baiting and switching, and also knowing exactly when their shields are going to come up. So avoiding that grenade and then dodging back up at the right time, finding a no shields guy, not over challenging, using the map to their advantage, and just playing the teamwork game. And that's what it reminds me of, what Envy's doing so well. It reminds me of the interview with L-Town, that they do so well on Optic Gaming. They don't try to do too much, Kyle. When you see them, they're just focused on what their screen has in front of them and what they need to be doing individually, and that's what results in such great teamwork. It's great to see.
Yeah, and we're still on board with Snakebite, who has that sniper still, and is just putting down a ton of damage with this battle rifle here. He's got players running away from him, essentially. Even when he was back carbine and had Lunchbox and Roy in front of him, Lunchbox ultimately decided to evacuate and just allow Snakebite to continue his sniping.
We'll see if Snakebite can pick up some more kills, but he wants to pick up some camos right now. And Ogre 2 a little off with that time. Falcade maybe jumped a little bit early for that one. Very difficult to get one exactly on time, but still, nonetheless, they burn that one. That's going to be good for Evil Geniuses. Don't want to continue to give control on over these guys. Falcade has a huge flank. Let's see if it pays off for him. He shot once, so that's going to be called out to the rest of the players. And there's a scattershot guy just waiting for you. They got 3 dead for Optic Gaming side. Snakebite still has control of the weapon, so if they can find Snakebite, this is going to be great for them. Snakebite, the right play would be probably jumping these off, but instead, he's going to keep them in the middle of the open and basement, which isn't that bad either, because you can see everybody from Optic Gaming immediately charging over there. And Kyle, look at that. They're so aggressive. Evil Geniuses isn't even ready for this play. Everybody is already rotated towards the barrels, and Evil Genius is expecting players to push over towards engine and still be lollygagging around over towards the bunker side. They say no, they want those weapons, and they charged in to avenge Snakebite's death.
Yeah, and it looks like finally Lunchbox is going to be able to walk away with that sniper rifle, so we'll see what he's able to do. He's had great performances with this weapon before, but not one we see him, you know, able to just kind of set up and snipe it very often here. So misses 1, misses 2, connects on that 3rd one. That's a headshot onto lethal here. Down by 11, so still a long way to go to get back into this one. That new sniper up is coming up in 30 seconds.
Yeah, there was a player behind him, I believe. There he is, showing on the radar right there. So Snakebite maybe sprinting or maybe thrusting there. Couldn't really hear, but still getting a trade with Lunchbox, and that's kind of awkward for Lunch. That's the type of play that, you know, you're down 10 kills, you have the sniper rifle. If you get this kill cleanly, you can get on some sort of run. You had the heads up on him being on the radar, you had the positioning, you had the weapons, and you still get a trade out of it. So that's a great play by Snakebite, even though he didn't mean to show up on the radar probably right there. And a little bit of a mishap from Lunchbox allows now Optic Gaming to get a setup here. They have Scattershot and Sniper Rifle again.
2 sniper
They pretty much had this set up the entire game, but have been rotating around the map. Now they're actually slowing it down on over here towards the bunker side because the camo is going to be popping up.
Yeah, like we said, 2 snipers. Frosty with that new one. Does spot a player down in trenches.
I believe Lunchbox got that camo.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that here momentarily. With tapping buttons, picks up a kill. So still healthy lead here for Optic Gaming. Power weapon control still in their favor. They are over here sitting, obviously, tower 2. And look, there. Oh, a team snipe comes in.
That's good job by Ogre 2, though, being on top of that time, working with Lunchbox to make sure they can get the camouflage, because this is the only thing that's going to eventually save this game right now. That and getting the player that's over here, Frosty, getting that sniper rifle out of his hands. Got to make sure that you're putting pressure on this guy. Don't just sit there and be afraid of him. Don't hide and turtle. There's not enough time for that. Optic Gaming will get aggressive and pick you apart. Curious to see if Frosty's going to drop this. Maybe drop the scatter shot for one of his teammates, but why drop the sniper rifle when you're picking up headshots like this guy is? And it's great because you can use the sniper rifle long range. Obviously, you have that scatter shot in your back pocket for that close range distance. The only thing you kind of struggle with is that medium pistol range when you're kind of getting taken out of scope and you have the sniper rifle, but it's not long enough for the scatter shot. So positioning, very important for Frosty. And what do you know? He's taking the right positions. His movement, his positioning, definitely his strong suits, and he's no slouch with his shot either.
Yeah, so he's already connected on 2 of these headshots here. Healthy lead, maintaining, actually just growing what they've been able to do so far to open up this game. Camo is really the next thing they have to make a move for. Scattershot is not going to be coming up as long as Frosty is hanging on to this weapon. Like to see him reload. There we go. Reload this sniper rifle here. 3 shots left. Like to see what he's able to do here. Connects on Falcated. That's a power player. Hits another body shot. So just completely disrupting everything Evil Geniuses is trying to do.
Yeah, and I think I know what Evil Genius is trying to do. I'm assuming what they're trying to do is slow it down. And it looks like also, what a great angle by Frosty. If he gets this snipe on these guys, that'd be amazing. So close. Falcated pushing over towards the snipe hole, but it looks like what the play is from Evil Geniuses is when the camo's coming up, not building around the camo, but actually getting aggressive and starting to push onto Optic Gaming, which is great because you got to assume that Optic Gaming is going to be really honing in on where these players are and not expecting a charge and expecting them to really slow it down and then eventually make their way towards the camo, and Optic's probably baiting that camo. So a little bit of counterplay coming in from EG, but looks like it could be a little bit too late, Kyle. 6 more kills for Optic to end this one, 18 for EG to make up. I just don't know if it's possible. We haven't seen anybody having a phenomenal game yet for Evil Geniuses. And we know Optic has the weapons here, so they're just going to try to eventually push in for some trades. There's one player. Couldn't get the kill, but they still do at least weaken a couple of guys on over towards the White Hall, potentially for Lethal to clean up. He drops down towards the basement. Snakebite's there for the spawn. Roy, he's caught off position as well. They got to be careful. 3 players are pushing right now towards Optic, and that could be all 3 dead. If that's the case, that's going to be the 49th kill, and then 1 more to go here if you're Optic Gaming. There it is. 50 to 34, not very close either. Evil Geniuses, they can't seem to get it together going up against Optic Gaming, and we know Optic Gaming is going to come out firing a little bit. It's still probably some bad blood going on between the 2 teams. Wouldn't doubt it still if there was a little bit of, wanted to get a little bit of revenge on these guys, but you gotta give it to Optic Gaming. We are talking about Envious. We gotta give it to Optic Gaming. They are right there with these guys, if not maybe a little bit further.
Is that not what Snipedown went? I think maybe with less
he went
or
19
more
and 7. I mean, I'm ready for this match tomorrow, man. I can't wait to see what it is. I know we got 1 more game, maybe 2 or 3 more games to play in this series, most likely 1. But I want to see Optic and Envy. I'm ready for it. I was ready for it since day number 1. And we know the hype is going to be real for when that match happens. It's going to maybe come down to a game type of thing too, or maybe just who's playing better that day. But if we see anything that resembles what we're watching today, we are going to see some of the best Halo 5 we have seen at all.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing some amazing play. Whenever a player is going 19 and 7, and that's the second player we've had go 19 and 7 here today, you know their teamwork and just their chemistry is going to be working out in their favor. Just so difficult to do that. And just Frosty, he's just running around, having his way, doing anything he wants to do these games.
Yeah, and that's kind of what everybody from Optic Gaming was doing. The only really solid play that I saw for Evil Geniuses, not to take anything away from them or anything, they're still a great team, but they had a great play when they went and pushed on the camo, and they went and kind of outsmarted Optic Gaming when Optic Gaming was slow playing it. So some really nice aggression from them. They need some more of that stuff. They need some of these unorthodox plays, or they just need to start playing individually out of their mind. And when I look at the way that these guys are shooting right now compared to the players on Optic, Optic's winning their 1v1s. They're winning their 50-50s. They're outbaiting and switching. The communication's there. The strategy's there. They're just so outmatched right now on the side of Evil Geniuses. but that's what Optic Gaming does to you. They just make you look bad, even if you are one of the best players in the world.
Oh, wow, and we're starting this one off with Roy, who throws a perfect grenade, and then grenade one-shot Snakebite there to secure himself a double kill, so that's a 4v1 trade to open this up, heavily going in favor of Evil Geniuses, and they need to get in these strongholds right now.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kyle. They need to be aggressive, they need to be unified as a squad, they need to take advantage of Optic Gaming maybe letting their foot off the gas just a little bit. So Overshield and Camo to start went on over to EG. They were not able to capture Red Nest as fast as they would have liked to. 40 seconds into the game is going to be when they put their first points on the board. And I don't see the Rockets anywhere as well. So curious to see what happened with those. Maybe those flew off the map. Tapping buttons. He's trying to trade Catwalk here for Blue Ben. Has to win this 1v1 against Royal 2. Not as clean as he would have hoped for. Royal 2 is going to get out of there, and there's the bait and switch coming on. Still didn't get his shields. Royal 2 is going to double back, maybe get the clean up here, maybe throw a grenade. He did appear on radar. Still not his shields coming back yet, and still haven't captured Blue Ben. And that's what Optic Gaming does. They just slowly but surely pick you apart and make you bleed out so slowly. However, EG, they have Blue Ben, they also have Red Nest, so they're controlling outside. It's just a matter of how long can they keep this setup. It's gonna have to come down to some amazing team shot coming out over here to get these guys out of Blue Ben, or some clutch grenades. They don't get it in time, and Optic Gaming ends up taking blue.
Wow, and Frosty able to stay alive, his positioning, his shots, just out of this world. Grabs a kill and an assist, and they're gonna essentially shut down EG, who's still focusing on this Ben. They lost that opportunity once the first two players died, and they're just funneling over this direction, getting picked apart.
Right, and this is the time that you have to be very careful about if you're Evil Geniuses. You do not have control of the map right now. Catwalk and Blue Ben currently under control. Crazy aggression coming in from Lethal. Tapping buttons, flying out and getting that kill. That's going to mean that TJ not going to be able to grab the camouflage. Rockets going on over to Felcated. 3 dead. Snakebite's the last guy alive. They're missing out on this opportunity to get control here if you're Optic, and Evil Geniuses now getting some momentum. This is great for them. 3 inside the bend, most likely going to fly into the alley here. All 3 of them going that way. That's going to give way too much information on over to Optic Gaming. They need to spread out after that. Redness halfway captured. Tapping buttons, maybe just got a ninja, not quite sure, but it looked like a sick play onto Frosty. Now it's a 2-on-2 situation with the reset going on over to EG, and Rockets in the hands of Felcated. A lot of this riding on Felcated, trying to stay alive in this security area. He needs to make sure that he's not wasting rockets. Has 2 alive. Ooh, has 2 in the chamber, and he coughs them up, giving 1 on over to Optic. And that's going to give a huge advantage over to Optic now. They should be able to get that catwalk area and decide where they want to push blue or red.
Ooh, but nobody was shooting at Roy, who was the last guy alive. He's able to get the reset on this and push Snakebite back, buying a little bit of additional time and taking a lead here for Evil Geniuses. Wow. But wow, look at that melt on the lunchbox there. The team shot from Optic Gaming is on point.
That is correct. It usually is, but that was a fast set with your lunchbox. Not even sure what you can call out at that point. Tapping buttons coming around. He's going to go and get that mini reset on over towards the blue bend. Good for Evil Geniuses. They got the lead. They need to continue to add the pressure on. They need to make sure that they did what they did on the first round of power weapons. They've gotten both overshields. They've gotten, I believe, at least 1 camouflage, maybe both. And they've gotten the only set of rockets that I've seen so far. So that's the keys to victory here. If they continue to do that, we may see a series.
Yeah, and it looks like Roy has those rockets in his back pocket as well. So yeah, he is out of ammo here, I believe. And just as I say that, 2 go down. Tapping buttons, grabs himself a double kill. These new rockets are spawning up. It's going to be a 2v1 situation as long as they can push in. Royal 2 throws a great grenade. Not able to win the 1v1 though, and those are going to secure rockets to Evil Geniuses once again. That catwalk almost captured, but is going to get reset here from Optic. But just as they do that, they give up Overshield here, and now one of the things you got to be most scared about, that's when Rocket Overshield player is running around.
Great route from Roy. Love that play. A lot of other players, they would have got that overshield and they would have started sprinting. But you know what, Roy? He played the radar perfectly, taken his time, made his rotation on over towards the camo eventually, which is what you want to do after you've already secured that overshield, already secured those rockets. Now he has tons of pickings in front of him. Those players don't die. Are you kidding me? Those rockets look good. Roy's got to be frustrated with that one. That was a big missed opportunity. We're going to see if Optic's going to be able to capitalize on that. Frosty's the last guy alive, but Roy and Tapping Buttons having themselves one hell of a game. 25 kills combined between the two of them. Falcated and Lunch have 9 combined, so that's why you're seeing Tapping Buttons. He was that highly coveted free agent, but Evil Genius is not letting him go, and we're kind of seeing Roy go into that form of, you know, Roy, in my opinion, he was one of the best players throughout Halo 3 and also in Halo Reach. His shot unstoppable at times. Has his moments in Halo 5, especially in the beginning. We're starting to see that in this game right now, Kyle. These guys single-handedly, in my opinion, are beating Optic Gaming with Lunch and Roy, or with Lunch and Falcated filling in the support, but the shots and the slays and the decision-making from Roy and Tapping Buttons right now are actually, they're playing at a little higher level individually than the 4 players on Optic. That is why we're seeing that. A lot of that having to do with the weapons and control. Now you're going to see what Optic can do with that, and we know how scary they are when they get a triple cap. So you got to get back into this one, and I really feel for Roy on those rockets. A lot of that having to do with this triple cap right now.
Ooh, and Lunchbox pushes over to try to go for Nest, but is going to get caught out by Frosty. Now he's having to run away and play some defense here with that cap and points still accumulating here for Optic Gaming. Frosty starts taking some shots in the back, so he's going to be backing down here, but with 2 dead for EG and only 1 for Optic, it is still their game to maintain control.
Yeah, but Roy did get another set of rockets, and he picked up the overshield. Unfortunately for them, they do not have numbers, and they do not have the strongholds in their advantage. Everyone is just dropping for Evil Geniuses left and right. There's Roy trying to do whatever he can. He's challenging Frosty in a situation where he probably shouldn't be, and Frosty's going to make him pay for that one. Roy, that's just one of those desperation plays and trying to do a little bit too much in a situation where he feels like he has to because his team's on the ropes. Down 2-0, and also this lead that they had no longer there. 74 points and counting. Optic Gaming with the triple cap. They're also watching Catwalk from 2 different angles. One guy from the red nest area, another guy from the window. That's going to be 3 dead. Reset coming in on over towards Blue Bend. All they need to do is get that reset on the Catwalk. They don't even want to risk it. They're just going to leave it there, picking up a couple of kills, still baiting it. They don't even capture the Catwalk for Evil Geniuses. The other players rotated towards Blue Bend. That mistake right there is going to cost them the series.
Oh, and Lethal just not missing. Gives Tapping Buttons another perfect at this game here. 94 points on the board already. Grabbing almost a kill. Roy with some amazing shots himself, but that is all she wrote here. Evil Genius is not going to be able to get back into this one. Those triple caps, you can just run away with the game. And there you have it. Optic Gaming going clutch, taking out Evil Geniuses 3-0 in week 2, day number 1.
Yeah, it's just Optic Gaming really imposing their will, saying, you know what, Evil Geniuses, you think you're going to win this game, but it's not going to happen. We got to see these stats, though, because they're extremely one-sided on the Evil Geniuses side. Roy, yeah, he got a lot of the weapons. That's why he was able to do that. 19 and 11. You got to give him credit, though. Getting the weapons and the way that he was able to do that was very strong. Meanwhile, 13 and 15 coming in from Tapping Buttons. Lunch and Falcated combined only getting 11 kills. Maybe trying to do a little bit too much there, but look at the assists from Optic Gaming. The teamwork was there. They were completely on point, and I don't even think that they got any power weapon kills from this quick scrolling that I saw you do right there. So 4 going on over to Roy. Nobody else in the game even touching rockets. So it's just unfortunate for EG because they finally showed some signs of life, and then one mistake with the rockets by Roy, or maybe, you know, just a misfire or some unfortunate turn of events, whatever you want to call it, that allowed Optic Gaming to get into this one and do some serious damage. And I love the way that Roy played that right there in that particular route, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, and I think Falcated had the rockets twice that game, which means he didn't get a single rocket kill when he had them those 2 times. So definitely EG having a lot more opportunities to do and to make things happen, but just nothing working on their favor. Roy trying his absolute hardest, and like you pointed out before, kind of a questionable challenge when he was in security over to the Optic Gaming player on Nest. But sometimes when you're playing that well and your team is losing, you try to go above and beyond and do more, not playing your own screen, but just trying to play the game. And he was weak, not recognized recognizing that, hey, this guy's not going to miss me either. And sure enough, just doesn't work out in there.
Yeah, I mean, I love comparing it to sports that I love to watch because, definitely not as physical playing video games, but a lot of the mental things that come into play. It reminds me of a basketball player that, it just needs to take a shot that he may not, have to take. And it's because he's the one hitting all the shots, right? And he's like, well, if I'm going to have a shot, even though I'm in a bad position, I'm still going to take that shot because it seems like I have to be the guy this game. And I feel like that's what Roy was feeling in that given moment. And Frosty, he kind of knew it. He wanted to get that challenge in. Optic Gaming was stealing and sucking all the momentum out of Evil Geniuses at that time. And once Roy probably lost that battle, I'm sure all of the air let out of that sail for Evil Geniuses. And then Optic Gaming does what Optic Gaming does so best, and that's close out games.
Yeah, I feel like Roy was the Allen Iverson against the Bulls that series, and it just wasn't going to be enough to overcome that giant or that monstrous squad there. But we do have an interview with the winner here. That's going to be Snakebite joining us after a convincing 3-0 win over Evil Geniuses. Snakebite, you guys just came out. You've yet to lose a game this Pro League series. You also saw earlier today Envy take the series, and then Liquid surprise Splice. Who do you think are the top teams that we're looking at now?
I think the teams that you just named, Liquid, Splice, Envy, and ourselves, I think are the top four. I mean, that was the placings of Atlanta. I think it's still kind of like that in Pro League even. I think it shows with the level of gameplay too. Liquid and Splice was a pretty close series. Liquid just came out a little hotter than Splice did today.
All right, so a 3-0, pretty dominant fashion for you guys. Was this what you guys were expecting going into this series, or are you guys expecting Evil Geniuses to give you guys a little bit closer games?
I mean, you always hope to come out in 3-0 or 4-0 the team you're playing. I don't think we really set a specific expectation on it, but we just had a really good start to that game one. We fast capped on Truth, and then game two is kind of the same where we had a good start. Game three, they had, I thought, really good rotations on us. It looked like halfway through they were playing it really well. I don't think we had an overshield all game, but luckily we got a 3 cap and we're able to just start momentum, get momentum on our side.
Now, also at the end of this game, you guys, the only one or the only player with any power weapon kills was Roy with 4 rocket kills. Now, is that something you guys experience a lot in your scrims and other games where your entire team did not get a power weapon kill?
I wouldn't say it's something we experience a lot, but they just in general held outside the entire time on us. That's why we didn't get any rockets. That's why we didn't get any overshields. I think we just kept burning camos, or I think we might have had 1 camo and burn a camo. We were just stuck holding tower majority of the game. It's not something we experience a crazy amount, but definitely learned a little bit from that series just to emphasize outside a little bit more.
All right, so tomorrow, big matchup. Probably the matchup of the Pro League. You guys going up against Envy. What can we expect to see in that series, and do you have any predictions for us?
No predictions. It's always a good series versus Envy. I think last time in Pro League when we played them, it was 3-2, so no predictions or anything. I'm sure you can expect a great series, though.
Oh, Snakebite, not falling for the bait.
Yeah.
Come on, man. We had him. We had him.
Can't do it.
All right, last question from me. Something that I noticed today is the teams that crossed their arms in the photo shoots, they won their series, and the teams that didn't cross their arms in the photo shoot lost. Is it an intimidation thing?
I don't know, man. It's rigged because they tell you what poses to do, so it must be rigged over here.
All right, thanks for following the script then.
No problem.
All right, there you have it. Snakebite, just Optic Gaming running away with it again. Just a monstrous squad. Do so many things right, and the mistakes are always so minimal. Rarely do you ever see them costing a game, costing a series. At the best, you might see a flag capture or a couple kills costed based on their decision making.
Yeah.
But other than that, just almost flawless play all the time.
I can get very critical up here sometimes of the plays, and I like to see teams take advantage of mistakes, and I like to see teams not making mistakes. I really want to see, quality Halo because these guys are the best and we know what they're capable of. And one of the things that really stood out to me, and I talked about it a couple of times already, was when I was mentioning that Optic Gaming, they needed to give up that flag cap in CTF Truth. It was 2-0 in favor of them. Evil Geniuses first started getting their momentum. I was really worried that Royal 2 and Lethal were both going to push and not focus on Falcated, or they weren't worried about Falcated in their base. TJ Lethal, He ends up picking up a kill across the map and coming back and winning a nasty 1v1 against Falcated. They took all the momentum away from Evil Geniuses. They closed out that game, and they closed out the series.
Yeah, they absolutely did. So, of course, that wraps up match number 4. Let's go ahead and recap today's schedule with the scores and how these series played out. Ronin 3-1 over Naventic, Envious 3-0 over Luminosity. The surprise of the day, in my opinion, and the rebirth of Team Liquid with a 3-1 victory over Splice, and then Optic Gaming with that 3-0 over Evil Geniuses. So lots of 3-0s that we've seen so far in these first 3 match days of Pro League. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings after day 3. Optic Gaming and Envy yet to drop a single game. Team Liquid rounding out 3rd place, and then what the surprise is here, EG at 4th, Rodin at 5th, and then Splice falling down to 6th place.
Yeah, and again, that's why that series last week, EG against Luminosity, was so important. You could be seeing EG at 2-1 and potentially above Team Liquid. Definitely if they were able to close that series out 3-0, they'd be sitting in that position. Instead, they're hanging on to 4th place just by a hair. The other big surprise, obviously, Splice sitting at 1-2. They've had a tough road, just like Luminosity has as well. But heck, this is the Pro League. Every team is a solid team. So we're going to be seeing a lot of good Halo tomorrow. I cannot wait, especially to see that Envy versus Optic matchup.
Yeah, speaking of tomorrow, let's go ahead and take a look at what other matches that we have in store for tomorrow, match day 4 of Pro League. That's going to be Optic Gaming.
We don't even play around. We're getting right into the goods.
Yeah, I mean, opening up the day, going to be extremely exciting for everyone. Naventic versus Team Liquid, Luminosity versus Ronin, and EG versus Splice. So 2 teams, EG and Splice, coming off of losses here today. Now, of course, if you are watching at home, like what you see and want to find out any kind of news information, more even the VODs in regards to these matches here in Pro League, head over to proleague.com/Halo to find out all the information there. Tom, that does it for us here from the Xfinity desk on week 2, day number 1 of Pro League. Make sure you tune in tomorrow because we have the match of the season in store. 2 undefeated teams facing off against each other to open that one up. So we'll see you then.